Hello and welcome to another episode of FinTech Focus TV with me, Toby. Today I am absolutely delighted to be joined by Kaja from Duco. Kaja, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Very good indeed. Thank you. Very good indeed. So you're out in Antwerp at the moment, I believe?
Yeah, indeed. I'm at the Duco office in Antwerp at the moment, yeah, I'm ready to talk with you, Toby, about
Ready to talk
everything
all things
exciting.
Duco?
Yeah, exactly. Everything exciting that's going on.
And it is exciting. I mean, look, you couldn't be better placed in terms of where the action's happening. I think, as I've said many times, it's not a FinTech Focus TV and without AI being involved in some way, shape, or form these days. But I think you guys have been at the very sort of kernel of the whole movement. And there's a lot of very, very cool things that you guys are doing in the Agentic movement in particular recently. But this isn't a necessarily new thing for Duco to be moving into this AI world, and that's what we're going to sort of be talking about. We'll be talking about a lot of the things that you guys are doing. There's a lot to unpack. I'm very, very excited to do it. But first and foremost, Kai, give us a little bit of background to yourself, please, to the role that you do, and also about Duco for those who haven't heard too much about you so far.
Happy to do so. Again, hi everyone. I'm Kaja. I have a background in computer science, actually. I did my PhD and then stayed in academia a bit, but I think as a lot of us want to solve real world problems, I decided to move to industry, I think 7, 8 years ago. And I worked at a couple of different companies, but eventually worked with developing the AIDP, which is Adaptive Intelligent Document Processing. We had a startup that was acquired by Duco 2 years ago. And now I'm head of AI at Duco, and we are, as you said, at the forefront of delivering AI and agentic solutions to our clients at the moment, which makes me and my team super enthusiastic and excited for the future.
Absolutely, can be better placed as a team, right?
Indeed. It's a phenomenal time for the team, what we can achieve at the moment.
And tell us a little bit more about Duco itself as well as a company, because it's been one of the great success stories of the industry. Obviously acquisitive with with the startup that you were before, but give us an overview, the elevator pitch of Duco itself.
So I think it's very important that I tell that Duco is a cloud native, no-code reconciliation and operational data automation platform. We have clients that have data coming in from multiple different sources in multiple different formats. And what our focus is to get that data right in the correct form, so our customers can work with it, get the data first in, to normalize it, put it in the correct form, then get it right with our best-in-class matching tool, and then of course get it right with the exception management tool. And then we also do the part where we can upstream to different systems our output, so the customers can then use it further on. And as you said, the history of Duco has been quite long, more than 10 years, and there were a lot of different things that contributed to the success stories. And definitely one of them, how it all started, is the best-in-class matching tool, where the whole company developed around. But more recently, one of the successes was the acquisition of the MetaMaze. The part of the Duco now enables transforming the unstructured data to structured data, meaning that our clients can have different legal contracts, OTC confirmations, imagine documents like that. They can extract information out of it and then later on reconcile it, which was previously not possible. But with the acquisition, didn't just acquire that part of technology that is now part of the Duco pipeline, but with the acquisition, there was also a whole team that joined the Duco that allowed faster development of the AI at Duco. And now we have very clear AI vision. Even though we've been deploying AI since 2017 at Duco, we now really have Agentic in production as well, and allow our customers to not just using AI at a certain steps of our pipeline, but actually work with our platform with the agent instead of manually.
I think that's a really important part of it, isn't it? So we'll come on to that about how you're actually doing it in reality, because I think there's a lot of noise around AI and the agentic movement and, you know, work for work's sake. But I think there's a lot more that you guys are doing. And I actually remember, as you were talking, I sort of go back to however many years ago. It was the very early days of Duco, and Christian was there in a meeting or a dinner that I got invited to by, I think it was EY at the time, and we were there and talking through things. And I remember him very, visibly being very passionate about where the technology could go. And you'd have picked him out in a room as to what Duco could have done. It was at that sort of stage almost invisible, but the story's been, phenomenal for the business, and it's been great to see and watch it grow as successfully as it has been done over that time.
Indeed, and Christian made a couple of very important decisions in the beginning. For example, that we are cloud native, that enables us now to deliver all of this. Functionalities to our clients, because if we wouldn't be, we wouldn't even have the opportunity to have such exciting features now live.
That's a really interesting piece, isn't it? Because I think that's what a lot of people forget about making decisions a while ago that allow you to be well positioned for things to move further forward. And whilst I think there's been this hype over AI over the last couple of years, the companies there that have been really successful are the ones who sort of moved along with the times alongside that. And I think that you're as you say, 2017 was the start of the journey for you guys in this sort of play. But I know that there's I guess a thought process about how a genuine structure around how you deal with AI and what it's treated like, with certain principles behind it. So I'll throw that over to you as a sort of general question. Tell us a little bit about the sort of Duco's relationship with AI and the thought process behind it, and the principles behind its successful adoption into the business.
Yeah. So the first thing that I want to say is that the whole approach to AI at Duco is led by our mission to reduce time spent on data-related work by 90% for our clients. So everything that we do, we first think, where will it make the biggest difference for our clients? And then we decide what we're going to work on next. So that's a very important part, that we always have our clients as a center of our work. And we are very much aware that we are kind of in a very regulated market with FinTech, and that there is just a demand for transparency and auditability. It's not a question, maybe, it has to be there. So when we are developing, we are following the three principles. One is always keeping human in the loop. That means that we give our clients the ability to decide where they want to draw a line, where they want to put the threshold, where they trust the AI, and where they want to make decisions on their own. So that is completely in the hands of our clients. They make the decision how much they want to trust AI and how much they want to keep the human in the loop. Then next is obviously explainability. Our whatever solution, whatever we do with AI, it has to be obviously justified why the decisions were made. So that's explainable to our users. And then last but not least, obviously, is the auditability. Every action, every input, every approval must be logged. And for all of them, we come back to human in the loop. If the client decides that is something that can be automated, but if not, there is a place to approve every single decision that's been made by AI.
That's a really important part of it there, isn't it? Because I think that's sort of, if I think about the sort of frontiers that stop various technologies sort of really gaining traction, trust is always a part of it. And as you mentioned before, we're in a super regulated area. I think there's the handbrakes on the industry has always been sort of abilities or people's assumption that sort of AI is approximately right in many cases and approximately right in financial services is never good enough.
It's not. It's definitely not good enough.
And that's where you guys come in to sort of like take that. And I love the idea of keeping the human in the loop, because yeah, it's something we talk about a lot. This is not about complete replacement. This is about augmentation. And I think that's
Indeed.
something which you guys are pretty keen on as well, right?
Yeah, indeed. We are looking at it as boosting the productivity of our clients, of saving their time, and not replacing them. We want
Yeah,
them to do more exciting, more important tasks and automate the very repetitive manual tasks.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's where we start to get some real excitement around this, because if we think about the sort of evolution of AI as a whole over the last couple of years, I know it's been on a long journey, right? This is nothing particularly new, but if we talk about its sort of real adoption recently, everyone's been in a race to say, right, we're utilizing AI, we need to have AI in our workflows. And it feels like it's been a little bit messy around how people have been doing that, and they want to just have it as the badge, the pin badge, to say we're utilizing AI, we're modern, we're innovative, we're forward thinking, we've got AI in our DNA. But actually, I think it's about saying, right, how can what are we actually looking to improve? And I wrote it down when you were talking. Where will AI make the biggest difference for our customers, our clients? And I think that becomes a really important part of it when you're saying there, right, what processes do we want to take out the loop? Which ones can we allow people to be doing their best work? How can we get people focused on what they're doing at the best of times, at all sort of stages? And that seems to be very much the sort of core of what you guys are able to do.
Yeah, because we are obviously in a technological era where all of these things can be monitored and we have all this information. So we are very much capable of making informed decisions on which parts we want to automate next. So when it's obvious that our customers are spending the most time in a certain part of our pipeline, then that's obviously the next thing to optimize.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very customer driven.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
And since we do have a lot of experience from that, it's very easy to also work then with our clients because they are enthusiastic to solve those time-consuming tasks, and they are very happy to cooperate with us when we develop new functionalities for our platform.
Absolutely. I think I mentioned to you before we came on air that this time last year I was speaking to someone who's very heavily into the AI world, who was saying that 2025 is going to be the year of the agent, and we saw lots of news come out and a lot of development with Agentic AI as a whole last year. But it feels like it's just getting started, and I know that Agentic AI is very much the sort of something which you guys have thrown a lot of time and effort behind. Tell us where you're at in that journey with Agentic right now.
Yeah, I love how you said like a year ago we started talking about it, but we are a year later, and obviously everyone is talking about Agentic, but it's still surprisingly little amount of actual productionized solutions in the market.
Yeah,
So we got as far as when you talk with clients and you mention, oh, we have this agentic solution, they just go, no, not again. Like we heard all of it, we saw all the slides possible, and we are like, no, but we have it in production, we can just open it and demo it. And they are like, okay, yeah, that we would love to see. But they are
yeah, yeah,
just thick of slides of promising solution that are not developed yet.
yeah,
So obviously everyone is talking about it, but in reality, not a lot of things are in production yet. Um, from Duco, from our side, we have quite a clear vision of how the evolution of agentic AI looks like. We are currently in kind of a foundational phase where the agents are kind of our co-pilots. They are helping us get more done faster, obviously, and within our platform. So that can be seen as a functionality here and there, or kind of an agent that helps you work with a platform and execute certain actions. As a next phase, which we are currently working on, is the proactive phase. It's kind of like a proactive partner that addresses problems before you even know you have them. And that's what I meant before when I said that we closely monitor where our clients spend most time in our platform. So one of them is obviously the exception workflow, and how to solve those exceptions. And we are working on proactive agents now that will detect those issues before our clients will even know they exist. And that we see
Wow.
as the phase of agentic AI evolution after this foundational one that we are all hearing about at the moment. But then,
Let me
go
just
ahead,
sorry
go
to
ahead.
cut in. Let me just ask a silly question on this. So when they hear that sort of thing and they're seeing these problems before before they even know about it, what's the benefit to them of that happening?
Let's just imagine someone working on reconciliation exceptions day by day, right?
Yeah.
That's their whole day. The first thing in the morning, then wake up, they have hundreds, maybe even thousands of exceptions that they have to work through in the day. And what they do at the moment is, yeah, they start working on them, maybe doing some filtering, figuring it out, which are most important to treat first. What we see as the next step is our client would open our platform and there would be a list of issues that the proactive agents detected, and would be like, hey, this one seems very important, treat this one first, a short description, and then suggesting the actions to take.
Wow.
That there are a lot of different reasons why certain exception or a group of exceptions would be treated as highly important, and that's of course based on the customer and their process, obviously.
Fantastic. And so you mentioned the word evolution there before. Tell us how that sort of evolves as it, because we're seeing tremendous growth in this sort of space and developments that are happening all the time. This is things which a couple of years ago people were just not being able to to contemplate, and now they're looking at things that can make them hyper productive in their jobs on a day-to-day basis.
Indeed.
When we get spoiled, we tend to want a little bit more, don't we? And so people
Yeah.
don't sit there and wait for the next sort of wave. But I guess you're already thinking about how that grows and develops. And someone said to me the other day that the worst version of Agentic, the worst version of AI is today, that it'll ever be in the future. And I think that's a really exciting position to be in. So
Yeah, indeed.
so what does it look like for you guys who've already talked about having things in production, who have already got things there practically working, who are already delighting and running ahead of expectations of your customers? What does that look like for you, moving further forward? What does the evolution continue to?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's super exciting, and we don't want to fall asleep now when things are evolving so fast. And we definitely are looking forward with what the next step then would be, right? And we are really seeing that as kind of the orchestration era, where it's not just going to be Duco agents and then other our clients' agents apart, but then still a very kind of manual communication between them. But we want this orchestration that actually our client's agent would be using Duco agent to bring the data in, reconcile it, solve the exceptions, and then when detected those exceptions, let's say, hey, there is an error in the upstream system, you have to solve that. That client's agent would solve that error, communicate back to the Duco agent, hey, this is solved. The error, the break would be solved, and the output could be sent back to the client agent. So this is kind of the next step, where all different agents are communicating with each other, obviously still keeping human in the loop, but replacing the manual parts in between.
Understood. So an exciting time for it to come through. I'm actually pleased to say genuinely understood as well, within that. You've got a
Yeah,
good
I
way
know.
of.
Sometimes it sounds really futuristic, but I have to say that it doesn't feel that that we are really far away from it. That there are clients that are quite technologically develop, and they are looking for companies like we are to work together and to develop those kind of orchestration agents together. So
Yeah,
it's
well, it's what I was
exciting
thinking
times.
actually. As you were talking, I was thinking that this is a quite often a very complicated conversation. Obviously, your background in it and the sort of thing is a highly technical area of what we're talking about. But your ability to translate that and demystify it, I think, is a pretty strong trait. And that to me, that usability and adoption piece probably allows it to come into production a lot faster than a lot of places which seem to be sort of creating
Yeah.
problems that don't necessarily need to be solved.
Yeah, indeed, and I have to say it's a very complex area that we work in, the whole fintech, financial um, mm, field. But one thing that is really inspires me day by day is how the teamwork can help here. Because
Mm.
we have a lot of experts in the company that know the field in and out. We have a lot of technical experts, computer science, AI engineers, and so on. But the capability of that we can work together and we get out of our cooperation what the most important is for our clients is the difference that we are making, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think that sort of comes through. As I said, I was doing a bit of research beforehand and I saw how you were talking about the team and the work and the technology and all of those things combining together under the culture of what you're doing. It sounds like a pretty special place to be working with you all right now. Talk to us about that sort of talent, because I think the whole world of hiring in AI and people in AI, when you look at AI and ML, there's a lot of people who want to be in it. So there's a lot of pretenders to to that sort of the skill set, and people coming through and proclaiming to be experts overnight, etc., etc. But I think when you get some really smart people together, we're seeing some of the most groundbreaking things happening in the space on a daily basis at the moment. And I think that it usually comes from when you've got a collection of really good people who are inspired to work together. So, as I said, there was a particular post which you spoke about where you talked about the sort of quality of the work. You spoke about the I mean, look, I'll read this directly because it's over here. You'll work alongside some of the sharpest minds I've ever collaborated with, which is not a bad way to be talking, is it? Modern and exciting technology, supportive and ambitious. Tell us a little bit about that. What's it like to be working in that sort of environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Can't say it with any other word. But just to try to describe how the current era of this evolving machine learning to actually more AI and Gen AI solutions it looks
Mm,
like. So we have still a lot in the market, a lot of machine learning engineers that know those architectures of the models in and out. They're expert in theory, but don't maybe have that much experience with the operational part or deploying in production. Then we have some newer some new talent, which are mostly AI engineers that got to know this new generative AI pretty well, but don't have enough experience with the old school machine learning. And in my opinion, to be able to bring out the best results, you need both. So when we are building the AI and machine learning team, we're really looking in the fact that we have different experts in the team so we can learn from each other. That means that we have people that are really experts in the whole architectural part, the whole machine learning, old school part. We have
I love the
software
fact it's called old
engineers.
school now as well, isn't it?
That were just like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Old school or software developers that are bringing really quality of the code, that making everything optimally implemented. Then also some MLOps, as we call them, engineers that are making sure that everything is scalable, deployed properly, and so on. And it's just a mixture of talent that makes it possible to keep the velocity that we have at the moment.
Yeah.
That allows us to move fast. but still make sure that what we bring to production is high quality. And here I want to maybe give an example of two things that two agentic solutions that we brought to production recently. So the first one was the Agentic Rule Builder that we launched in October 25. It was our first agentic solution, and it was kind of a new world for us to be developing multi-agent solutions. But again, it was a pleasure to observe my team, how they cooperated with each other, how they came up with solutions, everyone bringing something to the table, including some field knowledge. That we were able to bring a multi-agent solution in production maybe half a year after people only started talking about agentic AI. And then more recently, our agentic workspace, we announced it in late November 25, and is now being deployed into our internal production, meaning that the whole solution allows our users to operate with the Duco platform, with the whole pipeline through an agent. So that means that you can describe everything in natural words, so in English, and ask the agent to create a process, do all the configurations, but then also optimize the process, find where certain optimizations, certain rules can be added, but then also inspect the processes, manage the exceptions, and so on. So the whole diversity of the solution that was brought to production would just not be possible without a lot of different knowledge that was brought together in one team.
And how's this been adopted by your customers? So it's great to have it in production. It sounds like it's absolutely game-changing technology that you guys are doing. Obviously, when there's the thought process around all this, and it's so clear for people, quite often that sort of clarity loses touch when it actually hits the shelf and people start buying it and utilizing it and all that sort of thing. Tell me a little bit about the reception of your clients and how they've adopted it into their business. Going well, I understand.
Yeah, it's going really well, and it's one thing that is contributing to going so well is that everyone is talking about agentic. So when you talk with our clients, everyone is like, we want agentic. And that means that when we released our first agentic solution into production, our clients were basically begging us to give them access as soon as possible. And the adoption was quite amazing. I think we built in the first 2 months, we built more than 1,000 rules with our Agentic Rule Builder, which made it to production. That's a huge number. We have, and there is still, as you mentioned in the beginning, this whole AI adoption comes with a lot of legal and infosec things in mind that you have to take into account and that has to be solved before. But if you take into account that by the time we got to production and by the time that we got 25% of our clients using it regularly, I think we got that in a month or a month and a half. And before it was always, oh yeah, in AI we need this approval and this internal approval and that contract change and so on, and then all of a sudden it was moving really fast. So the adoption is really good.
That's unbelievable. Those numbers are pretty staggering, aren't they, when you think about the speed of how this sort of evolves, which feels like a good sort of point to talk about it. Look, we're sat here, this will be out in March, I believe. We're sat here at the end of January already. We're in the last week of January as we're filming today. Everything's moving quickly. Life is moving quickly. Everything's moving quickly within it. So I'm always interested. As I said, look, this time last year, I was talking about this being the year of Agentic, and we see what's happened over the course of it. If we're here and you're giving some bold predictions about what we're set to see in this space in 2026 as a general sort of overview, Kaja, tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are there. What's your crystal ball telling you?
Yeah, I think how I experience it and how I see it is that we're going to move away from agents doing these single tasks but agents cooperating with each other. So basically, that the whole pipeline of things that we will have to do for a certain outcome that we want would just be basically agents communicating with agents, that we will, as a user, be kept in the loop, but as far away from the beginning of the year. I think towards the end of the year, also those thresholds where to keep human in the loop and how much to trust an agent will evolve.
Yeah, I think that evolution of trust is a really interesting part of it, isn't it? So, as we see that sort of developing, it feels like the real frontier to then do that. And what do you think that means for the human? As we said, look, there's a lot of if you look at the headlines, you'll probably be sort of rolling your eyes with the scare stories about the sort of takeover. But to me, this is all about a fundamental opportunity for productivity to increase in what we do on a day-to-day basis. I'm interested to take your view on that.
Yeah, and you have to know that normally those the fear that arises is from not knowing the details, right? And as much as there is a lot that we can do, there's the opportunity for us to educate people to understand the AI, how it works. As I mentioned before, make it very transparent, so the users can understand it. And that will help us to get the adoption way higher and the trust. Because if you compare this agentic AI with AI from 10 years ago, it was the same, right? No one trusted the AI, even though where some solutions were really just hard-coded human tasks. And then we came to maybe like 2 years ago to the state where you would actually ask the AI model how certain you are that a certain prediction is correct, and you would only intervene when that is lower than 80% or lower than 90%. So I think we're going to go in similar path with Agentic, when users will understand a bit more how it operates, how it works in the background, and with time they will trust it more.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Let's finish, Kaja, by talking about sort of the Duco yourselves and what you expect to see over the course of 2026, and then for anyone watching, who should be getting in touch and what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, definitely. So I think our focus will stay agentic AI, and that we are not going to be standing still with the foundational agents that we have in production now, but we are going to definitely bring proactive agents into production and work very closely with some of our very research-focused clients to get the orchestration agents live as well. And obviously, if you want to adopt agentic AI that is actually deployed in production already, and not to just look at the slides about how it might look in the future, then you can always visit the Duco webpage that has the whole agentic workspace described. There are videos that can prove that it's actually in production, and then get in touch with us. We'll be happy to explain more in detail.
I think that's sort of real good part of everything you said there is about how it's in production. And I think that sort of piece there for people to see it and to feel it and to actually sort of gain the benefit of it, it's really, really exciting. It feels like, to me, the next big hurdle about adoption and progress in the space. So I knew you'd be at the front of it. I knew you'd be at the forefront of it. We've been, as we said beforehand, we've been trying to get this organised for a little while now over the last few months. I'm really pleased that we managed to persevere and get it done. Kaja, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Toby. It was really nice to talk about it.
My absolute pleasure. We will see you all on the next episode of FinTech Focus TV, and thanks very much for watching.